To achieve this delicious recipe, you're going to need 4 to 5 pounds of Boston butt pork roast, or you can use pork loin, and you're going to want to dice them fairly large. Now, you'll see some of these that are seasoned. That's because I had one Boston butt, and then I also had a pork loin that was pre-seasoned with just some garlic and herbs. 1.5 cups of diced sweet onion, 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Make sure it's 5%. 1.5 cups of ketchup, 1/2 cup brown sugar firmly packed, 2 tablespoons of brown mustard. I'm using coarse brown mustard, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, 2 tablespoons of raw unfiltered honey, and our seasoning will be my Pork and Good seasoning blend and garlic powder. Now, I will be using garlic powder instead of fresh garlic because garlic to me tends to bitter when you're pressure canning it. So if you don't want to use garlic powder, you can exchange it for 3 garlic cloves finely minced. And this is all you're going to need to achieve delicious barbecue pulled pork. Happy Monday afternoon, y'all. Yeah, I said afternoon. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know when y'all gonna see this video this evening, but I've been gone this morning. I had a busy day. I'm gonna share with you a cute picture and maybe a little clip of Mr. Mighty Mo having breakfast with his mama this morning at school. So I'll share that after we start getting these ingredients put together. But I hope your weekend was a wonderful one. I know that Saturday we had a great time, as many of you heard, at our first festival. Yesterday, Sunday, we worked in my new garden shed, and we'll go out there and take a tour of it while these jars are processing. But why we are doing this recipe is because I need to clean the freezer out. And I need to organize it. And the pork loin that we're using was well, there's actually 2. One was kind of smaller because I'm using 4 to 5 pounds, guys. It was buy one, get one free a few months ago. We had a regular one, and I believe, like I said, it was a garlic and herb, you know, the long, skinny pork loins. And so I wanted to go ahead and get them cooked. Well, the best way to do that is chunk them up and make barbecue pulled pork. So that's what I did, and I had a small Boston butt. It needed to come out. I needed to do something with it. So the best thing to do is can it up and make it shelf stable. But this isn't what we use this for. It's just barbecue. Y'all, we've tried it in egg rolls. It's phenomenal. Tacos. It's not so heavy in that barbecue flavor. You can put it on a taco, add a little taco seasoning, a little cumin. We also use it in shepherd's pie. Yes, I'll drain the juice, shred the pork, come back in with the vegetables. I take the juice and I thicken it with a little bit of cornstarch. I make shepherd's pie. So by barbecuing this pulled pork, it lends you multiple recipes you can use it for. And that's what we do throughout the winter. It's just easy to grab and go. Plus, I'm not worried about meat getting freezer burnt. I'm doing something with it, you know, giving it a double duty, triple duty, quadruple duty, because it's various recipes that I use this with. So I think this is going to be a hit for many of y'all. Yes, and this is approved recipe. Now, I will be adding more seasoning. That doesn't change the process, and it doesn't make it unsafe. And I'm pulling it from my ball book, okay? Remember, I told y'all I pull recipes from the ball book, and of course what I'm adding is my Pork and Good. I'm not using fresh garlic because it bitters when you pressure can, in my opinion. I'll use garlic powder. So, and the mustard, it says ground mustard. Well, I'm using coarse ground. So you see, I'm still staying with the guidelines. 5% apple cider vinegar. And yes, many of you know I'm not a fan of apple cider vinegar. But in this particular recipe, use the apple cider vinegar because it brings a sweetness to it. But this will be being pressure canned. And I had a couple of you that wanted to see my electric canner. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm just going to go ahead and do kind of like a start to finish using it. I'm not going to drag it out, but you'll get the gist of it. And I've learned a couple of tricks using this that I think I do need to share with a lot of you if you're thinking of getting one, or if you have just recently purchased one and you may not be able to get it up to pressure. Well, there's one reason why, and I'll show you. I figured it out fairly quickly, and I was like, aha moment. So, and it's been perfect ever since. So let me get you going on the pressure canner. Now, if you were using a stovetop, there's a line in your pressure canner. Bring your water up. Now, this will be hot. So what do? We go into warm jars. Not too hot because this is really not going to be boiling, but it's going to be hot to warm, okay? We're not going to transition to no cold temps. So over here, I have 7 wide mouth jars that I did wash and sterilize. Now, it is not recommended because of the process time. We're doing pints. I say Lippy is recommended. It's just a habit. Y'all know I do that. I also set my flats in hot tap water. It's just my thing. It's not required, but I do that. So you're going to see me do this. You're going to think, well, they say you don't have to. No, the new guidelines say you don't. My comfort zone says I do. But anyway, there is 7 wide mouth pint jars. That's what my electric pressure canner holds, which is perfect. I'm not going to have, I don't think, much left. And if I do, then I'll just cook it down unless I have a couple of extra jars. Then I can put at least 3 in here for a batch. You don't do 1 jar. So let me get you around here. I've not turned it on. I've done nothing but put some water in it. I'm doing this one-handed. All right, we're going to plug it in. Maybe if I use the tip of this paring knife, there is a line right here. All I've done is bring my water level up to this line. Okay, are we going to pressure can or we're going to water bath can? We are going to pressure can. So we're going to click. Now we have to preset the time. On this recipe, pints is 75 minutes. If you're going to do quarts, you need to go 90 minutes. I'm going 75 minutes. Next, insert jars. And you'll notice these jars have water in them that I will be dumping. But in the manual, it'll tell you to insert jars with about half to 3/4 full of water. That's to get the jars up to temp. My 7 pints, wide mouth pint jars are in there. Okay, we've inserted the jars. We're going to hit next. Now it's warm. I'll be using my porcelain inlay pot. You can use a stainless steel. Do not use aluminum, cast iron. All we're going to do is dump our ingredients in, except for the pork. So the first thing I'm going to dump in is the ketchup. That was 1.5 cups. 1.5 cups of diced sweet onion. 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar, 5%. 1/2 cup firmly packed brown sugar. 2 tablespoons of ground mustard. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. I didn't pre-measure my honey. We're going to do 2 tablespoons, if I can get it out. Here's our 2nd tablespoon of honey. Now, I'm going to use my porking good. It is optional. I'll use a 1 teaspoon measure. How's that? I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. For the onion powder, for the garlic powder, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon. If you are using fresh, you would need to use 3 cloves finely minced. Okay, we're just going to get this well and combined and go to the stove. I'm sitting on a medium heat, and because this is a stainless steel spoon, it's going to make a lot of noise. But all I'm going to do is get it well and combined before we drop our pork in. I'm going to use my hands, and I'm just going to insert the pork loin as well as the pork butt, and you'll be able to tell the difference. Let me show you. Here's the pork butt. Here's the pork loin. See, there's a difference. And I left mine fairly large. It's about 1 inch wide to 1.5 inches long. That's so I can shred it. That my hands are clean again. We're gonna fold this in. I'm sitting on a number 5. I'm gonna crank it up to about a number 6. And all we're gonna do is bring it just under a boil, kind of a simmer. And we're gonna let it simmer 5 minutes and take it off the heat. That's it. Now can you see it starting to come up to a boil? But it's not gonna be a rapid boil. We're gonna let it do this for about 5 minutes. We've got about 2 minutes left on the stovetop, but you see it says fill jars. We'll remove the pints, dump the water, and we'll start getting these jars filled and ready. Okay, I just pulled my jar out of the pressure canner. I like to do 1 jar at a time because that ensures that all my jars stay hot. All right, we're gonna work with 1 inch headspace. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I can add a couple of more. Now I already have 2 jars in the canner. That's because I thought my camera was on, but it wasn't. All right, I think yeah, I'm happy with that. Because it's just the 2 of us, guys. Should take about 3 ladles. Third, let's see where we're at. We're there. Okay, we're gonna debubble. Lippy, turn your stick around. Y'all didn't see that, did you? Nope. Okay, I am about a drop short. There we go. Oh, this is gonna be amazing in the pantry. All right, I'm gonna spin my jar. Y'all have seen me do this. I clean it with white vinegar, but I spin it because I'm checking to make sure that there is no cracks or breakage in the jar itself. Flat on, ring on, finger tight. Okay, it said fill jars. All 7 pints are filled and I had no barbecue pork left. This jar right here was my last jar, and it's a little bit less in meat, but plenty. So now before I hit the next, which is the next button, I wanted to show y'all this right here. See, when I drop it down, well, I found out real quick that if this right here, which is your permanent ring, is sitting, look, can you see that? It's blocking it from going down, see, and going up. So the key to this is to make sure that this is center of these pieces of metal. I call it the holder to the gasket. I really don't know what it's called. But I mean, hey, it's just the holder to the gasket. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I always go in and make sure that my gasket is pushed down. But yes, I have heard people Googling why. What's wrong? It just keeps steaming, won't make pressure. Well, it happened one time to me and I was like, what's wrong with it? And then I saw it. It was moved right there. And I said, oh, I figured it out. So now I got to move you so we can get this lid on and go to the next step. My lid is on. It's down. And here is my weight, okay, for pressure canning. I'm going to set it here because we're not ready for that. As soon as we get to put the jiggler on and hit next, you walk away. We're going to go outside and I'm going to show you my garden shed. Right now, I'm going to clean my mess up. But we have 7 pints of barbecue pulled pork about to go on our shelf. And guys, I think what's coming down the pipe, you're going to want as much food preserved on shelves as you can possibly get. That's just Lippy. That was my short shed talk. I won't say no more. Y'all know I can get down that rabbit hole and never come out. So we ain't going to go there. But this is one to try. You're going to love it because it carries so many meals moving forward. So I got to get this cleaned up. Now you can see the stain. It's starting to pull for pressure. And once it reaches that, it's going to start with a countdown from 10 minutes down to 0 before it prompts us to put our jiggler on. I was a little bit late turning the camera on, but it started off at 10 and it's going to count down. You see, it says venting. Once it reaches 0, that's when it's going to prompt us to add our jiggler. It says put regulator on. Now some people use a rag, I don't. And now it's on. We're going to hit next. It will start counting down. If y'all remember a few days ago, the ground cover stopped here. We've extended it, and you see we've got it squared off. So now we're going to go to the shed. You see that the top has been closed in. All of this has ground cover. And I'll tell you what we're doing with all of our planter buckets. And there's a lot of them. Here's the inside of the greenhouse. We're getting ready to put those mineral tubs in. We're going to put 8 down each side, 6 down the middle, so it allows us to go in through both entrances. So we're going to be growing in the greenhouse this year. Down this side wall will be a shelving unit attached to the frame of the building. That is where we're going to store all of those growing buckets that I showed you. Now we're going to go inside. The garden stuff actually has to go to my garden shed that's actually in the raised bed garden. I just haven't moved it yet. But let me show you what we're using this for. I have starting soil down there as well as here. Y'all have seen me use this. I just amend it every year when I seed start. Here is the last of the easy straw. Remember, they're not making the 99%, so we're going to go with something else. But I do have 3 bundles. Y'all have seen this tote before. It houses all of my seed start trays. And then we added this shelving unit here. And we have, this one's going to be all plumbing. Connectors and so forth. So that's going to be the plumbing. And then we'll just add to the shelving unit. Add to the shelving unit here. All the way down. So this one has 5 shelves. This one has 4 shelves. My weed eater, my hedge trimmer, these are all battery operated. They're actually going to hang on this back wall. He is going to add a small shelf here across the top to give more storage. And he's going to also add 3 shelves down this side to give more storage. Okay, we're back out at the front. We're going to come out 8 feet and add a porch. Because he has some more pallets, the heavy pallets that he's going to bring it out 8 feet with a cover. So that allows for us to sit in the shade working out here. Now I know y'all are familiar with this spot, but this spot is fixing to have a friend put in on this side of the beds. Because if you remember, we're running water lines all throughout the garden. So the best space for what I'm fixing to show y'all, it needs to go here because we can just run a water line right through the center and everything will be attached. Now, I've never taken y'all to the back of the property, but this is my future garden sink. We've had this for over a year. It was a great freebie. So it's going to make a great garden sink. I have plans for this one. Mr. Danny and Miss Wanda gifted me this about a year ago when I went down. And, well, I can't wait to show you what I'm doing with that. But that's at a later time. And then what you see here, all of these pavers and bricks and so forth. Guys, this is what we have dug up off of this property. Yes, this has been a chore. We don't understand why some of this was buried, but it was. But this has come in handy, especially all of these pavers. So what do you think of my garden sink? And I showed you where it was going to be. And whew, I am ready. But we've been holding off because, guys, it's still a little warm. So hopefully within a month, temperatures will get cool enough to where we can get out here and start working on getting the garden ready for next spring. But in the meantime, I'll be seed starting soon, and I will be growing in the greenhouse. I might go ahead and do 1 row outside, but y'all remember that Arctic blast we had, it didn't matter even with the frost covers. We lost everything. We don't want to take that chance again. So I will double plant. I will plant in the raised bed, but I'll also be planting in the greenhouse. And our citrus tree, which is our lemon tree, I think that's the only one we have in a pot, and it'll always stay in one. It'll be housed in the greenhouse. Our young satsumers, we do have frost covers for them. So we may have to use those because we put those in the ground because they're actually going to get 15 to 20 feet tall. But I think we have a good plan. But now I got to get in that house because we got to look at our barbecue pulled pork. It has probably another 25 minutes. But I also need a cup of coffee and I got to finish supper. So, but I just wanted to tie all this in. And I tell you what, on my ride back to the house, I'm going to insert my morning breakfast at Mo's school. Remember, he's a kindergartner. So I'm going to insert a snapshot. And he did have a funny to say because I think I asked him, where are we? And I'll let him tell you where we ended up being. They didn't expect this many Momo and Pawpaws. Just saying. They didn't prepare for like 500 old folks. Yeah, they had some of us sitting on the floor. It was a bad deal. Now, tell our friends what we're doing this morning.
We're in school.
We're eating breakfast at Grayson's school.
In the basketball area.
In the basketball area because they run out of room. There were so many Momo and Pawpaws, huh? And just like that, we have barbecue pulled pork. Aren't they gorgeous? I hope y'all try this recipe. I said y'all would see this video tonight, Monday night. You'll be seeing it, ding, you'll be seeing it Tuesday, mid-morning. I'm too tired to finish editing. Sorry, it's been a long day. But I know that y'all have those days as well. So I guess the next one will be Wednesday. We'll get into something, who knows what. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And try this recipe. I think you're going to enjoy it. Until the next one, guys.